Men are born to conquer the world, women to conquer hearts. But both search for the same answer. Must I die alone in this desert? Sin lived in James Cole's eyes. His hands were quick, and his smile was deadly. In these lands, among the red hills of New Mexico, people knew him as the Devil's Son, though none were foolish enough to call him that to his face. He was like an antique, weathered, valuable, and cursed when in the wrong hands. When he rode into town, women would stare, men would step aside. They showed respect, knowing his reputation. He had killed 4 men, perhaps more. Nobody knew for certain, and James enjoyed implying there were others. This morning, James admired himself in the mirror. His fingers carefully combed his mustache, examining the wrinkles around his blue eyes. He was 35, but felt much younger. Still young, still dangerous. He winked at his own reflection. "Today will be different," he said. "A day that will change our lives." They say words spoken to mirrors tend to come true. His words carried a strange prophecy. He tucked his pistol into his belt and rode his horse toward Sweetwater. What waited for him there was darker than hell itself. Sweetwater was like a forgotten tooth in the middle of the desert. Once white and proud, now rotten and painful. Wooden buildings lined the single street, decaying in the scorching sun. Miners and cowboys gathered to satisfy the same basic desires: a drink, a woman, and a chance to forget everything for one night. As James dismounted, the door of the Blue Moon Saloon swung open, and a woman was thrown out. She landed in a cloud of dust, right at James's feet. "And don't come back, you little thief!" shouted the saloon owner. The door slammed shut. As the woman collected herself, James studied her. She was small, delicate, yet strong enough to survive. She brushed the dust from her dress, face downcast. "Need some help, little lady?" James asked, amusement and slight mockery in his voice. When she lifted her head, James caught his breath. She had the face of an angel, large green eyes and a fine nose. But what struck him most was the emptiness in her eyes. Something that should have been there, humanity, compassion, soul, was missing. For a moment he felt like he was seeing his own reflection, and it both frightened and excited him. "Would you ask for help if you were me?" the woman asked, her voice unexpectedly soft and sweet. James smiled. "Maybe, or maybe I just want revenge." The woman smiled, this time a dazzling, radiant smile, learned, calculated, perfect, and completely fake. James was mesmerized. "My name is Lily," she said, extending her hand. "What's your name, stranger?" James took her hand. Even through his leather glove, he could feel how cold Lily's fingers were. "James Cole. Some call me the Devil's Son, but you can call me whatever you like." Lily's allure came largely from what others projected onto her. Men saw what they wanted to see when they looked at her. For some, an innocent angel, for others, a passionate mistress, and for others still a victim waiting to be saved. The truth was, Lily was none of these things. She had been a sold girl since she was 10, first by her own family to settle a debt, then by herself the night her owner died. A strange twist of fate. All her tormentors had been killed by her small knife. Now she was 24 and felt nothing. But she was skilled at mimicking how people felt. "I have a room inside," said Lily, nodding toward the saloon. "But Mr. Miller is accusing me of theft. Ridiculous. Why would I steal?" James answered with a crooked smile. "Why wouldn't you?" Lily looked at him carefully, perhaps truly seeing him for the first time. "If you get me back inside, I'll share half with you." James laughed, shaking his head. "Half of what? The thing you didn't steal?" Lily's fake smile disappeared, replaced by a more genuine, more dangerous expression. "Half of everything. You and me. 2 broken pieces can make a perfect whole." At the other end of town, a man arrived on a black horse. His eyes searched for only one thing in the street: a woman, green-eyed, cursed. When he found her, he wouldn't let her escape this time. This time, he would cut out Lily Evans's heart, if she had one at all. Hunter Tom Barkley had traveled through 5 states to find his wife's killer. And finally, he was one step away from his vengeance. "You won't escape this time, little devil," he whispered to himself, his fingers tracing the handle of his gun. When James and Lily entered the Blue Moon Saloon, the patrons turned their heads to look at them. The air inside hung heavy with sweat, whiskey, and thick perfume. James walked straight to the bar, demanding whiskey in a bullying tone. A fat, sweaty man who introduced himself as Miller, the owner of the Blue Moon, approached. "You," he hissed when he saw Lily. "I told you not to come back, little thief." James smiled, drawing his gun with an elegant motion and pressing it to Miller's temple. "This lady is my guest, and I don't like you calling her that." The room froze. No one was breathing. Sweat dripped down Miller's face, his eyes wide open. "Mr. Cole, I understand." "All right, of course, the lady is your guest. No problem." James slowly lowered his gun and smiled, but his eyes were like ice. "Good. Now give her back the room you gave her before, and a bottle of your best whiskey." Miller nodded quickly, dropped a key on the bar, and reached for the back shelf, pulling out a dusty bottle. Lily looked at James with a mixture of admiration and respect. Maybe this time everything could be different. Maybe this man, someone like her, could be her savior. When the two entered the room, it was hot and suffocating. James opened the window and the night air flowed in. Lily sat on the bed, studying James, weighing him. "Why did you do that?" she asked. "Why threaten Miller for me?" James shrugged, pouring whiskey into 2 glasses. "Because I took something I wanted, and I don't ask anyone for permission." Lily wasn't naive enough to miss the true intention behind this simple explanation. "So I'm what you wanted?" James handed her a glass. "Maybe. Or maybe I wanted to see that fear on Miller's face. Sometimes I enjoy scaring people." Outside in the darkness, Tom Barkley was watching through the window. Seeing his wife's killer in another man's arms made him sick. Lily looked so sweet, so innocent. Jane had been fooled the same way. He had taken the woman into his home, into his heart, then found her one morning with her throat cut. His stomach turned as he remembered. He would wait a little longer to catch Lily, to catch her alone. The Devil's Son's reputation was widespread in these lands, and Tom wasn't stupid. He could wait, for hours, days, weeks if necessary. As Lily and James sipped their whiskey, they studied each other. Lily examined James's handsome, arrogant face, how his hands constantly moved, how his eyes watched everything. And what did he see? "What did you steal from Miller?" James finally asked. Lily laughed, genuine this time. "Nothing. I've never stolen anything before. He had no reason to accuse me." James raised an eyebrow, unconvinced. "Everyone has a reason, sweetheart. What's yours? Why are you in this shithole town?" Lily's face changed for a moment, and James noticed it. A vulnerable moment, perhaps a genuine emotion for the first time. "I'm running away," she said simply. James laughed. "We're all running away, sweetheart. You can't impress me with that." Lily put her glass aside, moved closer to him, her perfume filling the room. "I don't want to impress you, James. I want to understand you. There's something different about you." James felt uncomfortable and looked away. "What do you see?" Lily placed her hand on James's face, her fingers tracing his fine features. "Myself, and it frightens me." As the night deepened, they told each other their stories, some true, most lies. James told her he had killed many men, some for justice, some just out of anger. He told her how he had robbed a bank in another town 7 years ago, but was never caught. He told her how his father beat him as a child, and how he left home at 16. Lily told him she was a souled girl, but didn't go into details. She told him how she taught herself to read and write. And she told him she had been married to 3 men, but remained silent about why her marriages ended. "There's a hunter," said Lily, finishing her drink. "Tom Barkley. I was staying in his house. He's tracking me. He's been after me for 3 months." James was interested. "Does he want to kill you?" Lily nodded. "Yes, my former master. One of us has to die, and I don't want it to be me." James lit a cigarette, blowing smoke toward the ceiling. "Why does he want to kill you?" Lily looked away. Even this was a calculated move. "He thinks I killed his wife, Jane." James laughed loudly. "Did you?" he said. Lily smiled, truly sad this time, perhaps genuinely honest for a second. Yes. In the late hours of the night, after consuming half the bottle, James and Lily lay in bed. They were damp with sweat, breathless. "Tell me again," said James, stroking Lily's shoulder. "What did you do to Tom?" Lily stared at the ceiling, her eyes distant. "Tom Barkley was a good man at first. He took me into his home, fed me, gave me clean clothes. He was kind to me. But then he changed." She paused for a moment. "They all change. He locked me in the house. Wouldn't let me talk to anyone. He locked me in the basement. If I didn't cook well enough, he would beat me." James saw the marks on Lily's naked skin, some old, faded, others newer. "And his wife?" James asked. Lily turned her head, her eyes gleaming in the darkness. "Jane? She was even worse. She would watch, silently, always watching. She would smile. Sometimes she would smile while Tom beat me." Lily smiled, not with the memory, but with something else. "One night, a night when Tom was out, Jane came into the kitchen. She brought a knife. It was very sharp, gleaming in the moonlight. 'I'm going to carve you up, little whore,' she said. 'I'm going to carve you up like a pig.'" Lily's voice had now taken on another tone, childlike and empty. "But she was too slow, and I was very fast. I took the knife from her, and then, I don't know, then there was just blood. So much blood." James's eyes followed Lily's hands, noticing how her fingers trembled slightly. Her fingers moved as if strangling something that wasn't there. James swallowed. There was something about this woman that both excited and frightened him. Perhaps it was like looking in a mirror, but seeing a deeper, darker reflection of himself. "What did Tom do?" he asked. Lily shrugged slightly. "He screamed. Then he cried. Then he tried to kill me. But I ran. I always run." Lily sat up in bed, her skin illuminated by the moonlight coming through the window. "But I'm tired now, James. Tired of running. I want to stay somewhere. I want to stay with someone." She turned her face to James, her gaze filled with a disturbing sincerity. "I want to stay with you." Morning poured in through the window like hot iron. James examined Lily's body. She looked younger in sleep, more vulnerable. Her hair was spread across the pillow, her lips slightly parted. James watched her breathing, slow and regular. "You don't trust her, do you?" he asked himself. "Of course not. You don't trust anyone." But still, she lay there so beautifully. And maybe she really did want to change. Maybe they could do something together. James almost laughed. The devil's son falling for a woman. How ridiculous. Across the street, Tom Barkley was still waiting. All night long, he had watched the light from the lamp in Lily's room. He had heard the screams and laughter. His blood was boiling, but he would wait. He had mastered waiting. And now, as dawn broke, a plan was forming. James Cole was a dangerous man, yes. But Tom was dangerous too. And most importantly, Tom was right. God was on his side. Tom checked his gun, loaded a bullet into the chamber. Today someone would die, and it would be Lily Evans. He prayed for her. Tom still wanted to save her soul, even after killing her. When James and Lily came downstairs for breakfast, the saloon was nearly empty. A few drunks had fallen asleep in the corner. A man at the bar was begging for whiskey. Miller nodded nervously when he saw them. "Mr. Cole, Miss Evans, good morning." James narrowed his eyes. "How do you know her last name, Miller?" The saloon owner stammered. I just heard it, I guess." Lily squeezed James's arm, giving him a meaningful look. "Tom is here," she said in a low voice. "I can feel it." James looked around, his fingers going to the handle of his gun. "Where? Do you see him?" Lily shook her head. "No, but he's close. He'll stop at nothing to find me." James looked at her, his eyes hardened. "What about me? Would I stop at nothing to protect you?" Lily touched him, her fingers tracing his cheek. "Would you, James? Will you really protect me?" James smiled, but this time his eyes smiled too. "I'll spill Tom's blood," James said in a low voice. "For you, and maybe a little for myself too. I haven't killed anyone in a long time." A momentary surprise flashed in Lily's eyes. "For me? Or are you just looking for an excuse to shed blood? James moved closer to her, his fingers gripping Lily's chin. Maybe both. Maybe you and I share the same darkness. We feed each other's worst sides. Lily saw the expression on James's face. Self-satisfaction, arrogance, and beneath it all, a hunger to possess something. James wanted her to belong to him completely. Lily knew Tom wanted the same thing. People always wanted something. But what did she want? Lily rarely asked herself this. Maybe. Maybe she just wanted a home. Maybe she just wanted someone to see her for who she really was, with all her lies, murders, and darkness. Lily looked at him with wide eyes. He's dangerous, James. He tracked me for 3 days, never slept. He's crazy. James shrugged. I'm crazy too, sweetheart. Sometimes. James leaned in, whispered in Lily's ear. Want to know a secret? Sometimes I hear voices. They tell me to kill, and I listen to them. James went outside, his eyes scanning the street. He shielded his eyes from the sun with his hand. Tom Barkley, come out, you cowardly dog. Are you looking for the woman who killed your wife? She's with me, safe. But if you want her, come and get her. His voice echoed down the empty street. The town was quiet. Everyone had hidden inside. Only the sound of a bell could be heard in the distance. Then, slowly, Tom Barkley appeared on the other side of the street. He was tall, thin, his beard graying. His eyes shone wildly, but the gun he held was steady. James Cole, Tom called out. Give me that devil. She killed my wife. Let me give her what she deserves. James smiled, sweet and dangerous. Come and get her yourself, old man. Tom took a step, then another. She's cursed, Cole. She has the devil in her soul. I've seen it come out of her mouth at night. I watched her while she slept. She kills people in her dreams. As James listened to what Tom was saying, he wondered exactly what kind of man's house Lily had lived in. Tom looked pitiful, but there was something in his eyes, something James recognized, something that made a man dangerous. Faith. Suddenly a hand grabbed James's arm. Lily stood beside him, looking frightened. We need to go, James. Now. He's too dangerous. James looked at her, seeing her truly afraid for the first time. You won't let him kill me, will you, James? You promised to protect me. James hesitated for a moment. Did he want to protect her? Why? He had only met her last night. And yet there was something about her, something that drew him to her. Maybe they both had the same devil inside them. Maybe that's why they recognized each other at that first glance. I'm with you, sweetheart, James said softly. But now I have to face that man. A matter of male honor. James gently pushed Lily's hands aside and moved toward Tom. Come on, old man. Finish this. Tom took another step, his gun still steady. James didn't draw his own gun. You know, I understand why you want to kill her. She's dangerous. There's something in her soul, something dark, but maybe that's why I love her. Tom stopped, looking at James in astonishment. You love her? She's a monster. She's a devil. James laughed. So am I, old man. Maybe that's why we belong to each other. James took another step toward Tom, now almost within gun range. But I wonder, did she really kill Jane? Or was it you? And then you blamed her. I can see it in your eyes, Tom. You're like me. You listen to the monsters, too. Tom's hands began to tremble. His face reddened. Are you calling me a liar? He shouted. She killed my Jane. I found her in the kitchen, her throat cut. James took another step, now within gun range. But maybe you killed her, Tom. Maybe to make Lily look bad. Because you were keeping her for yourself. You locked her up. You chained her like a bad dog. And maybe Jane saw this. Maybe Jane knew too much. When the gun fired, the sound filled the street. James staggered back, looking with surprise at the red flower opening in his chest. He began, but couldn't find the words. His knees buckled and he fell to the ground. Hot blood seeped through his fingers. Tom looked at him, his gun still smoking. Me? He whispered. Did I kill her? There was a moment of panic in his eyes, then it disappeared. No, you can't share your lies with me. Devil, son of the devil. Lily ran to James's side, holding him in her arms. "James, James, don't die! You promised me. You said you would protect me." James looked at her, his eyes growing cloudy. "I did protect you, sweetheart. Look, his gun is empty. Now, your turn." James's blood was spreading on Lily's white dress, staining it red. As she looked at his dying body, she felt a strange sensation. It wasn't regret, it wasn't sadness. Maybe it was emptiness, or perhaps a very deep hunger. Lily slowly stood up, lowering James's body to the ground. Tom was still standing there, now reloading his gun. Lily walked toward him, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Tom," she whispered, "you killed him. Is it finally my turn now?" Tom's hands trembled, his expression fluctuating between surprise and doubt. "Lily?" His voice was filled with childlike excitement, as if he had found something he had lost long ago. "About Jane. Tell me the truth. Did you really kill her?" Lily moved closer to him, wrapping her arms around him, like a lover's embrace. "Oh, Tom," she whispered. "Poor, confused Tom. Of course I killed her. You should have seen the surprise in Jane's eyes when I cut her throat. Just like the surprise in your eyes now." When the knife entered Tom's kidneys, his eyes widened in surprise. It was James's knife, the one they had hidden under the boots last night. Lily pushed it deeper, whispering in Tom's ear, "You will never chain me again. You will never lock me up again. You will never touch me again." Tom's body fell to the ground, blood beginning to pool at Lily's feet. She looked around. Faces were watching from windows, frightened, curious faces. Miller stood at the entrance of the saloon, his mouth open. Lily knelt beside James, checking on him. He was still alive, but barely. "Shh," she told him. "Everything will be fine now." James's eyes fluttered open. "Sweetheart," he whispered. Lily smiled slightly. "James, I'll heal you, and then we'll go together. We'll be together." James raised his hand, covered in blood, touching Lily's face. "Do you really love me, Lily? Or is that a lie, too?" Lily thought for a moment, wondering what it would be like to tell the truth. "Do you think I'm lying to you?" A week later, James and Lily arrived at another town. James was slowly recovering, but at least he was alive. Lily had cleaned his wound, healed him. They had slept together, eaten together, laughed together. And maybe, just maybe, Lily had actually begun to feel something. Perhaps her dark, empty soul was finally filling with something. Or perhaps it was just another role, another character she was playing for James. Time would tell. For now, she looked at him and smiled. And James looked at her, embracing the devils inside him and perhaps loving her, truly her with all her darkness. Because sometimes love is not redemption. Sometimes it's just two broken souls holding on to each other in the darkness. And sometimes that's enough. "You know," said James as they rode their horses, "you never answered my question about whether you love me." Lily looked at him, her eyes shining in the sun. "I didn't kill you, did I? For me, that's love." James laughed, shaking his head. "Fair enough. For people like them, maybe this was the best." Perhaps for both James Cole and Lily Evans, love was simply survival. And perhaps for now, that was enough. "So," said Lily, looking at James, "where are we going now?" James smiled with that crooked, dangerous smile of his. "To hell, sweetheart, as always. But this time, together."